Hi there, my name's Simon and welcome to Insert Pasta Pun here. I've decided to do something a little bit different today. I am bringing you guys an interview. I figured my creepypasta writing game needs work, and what better way to improve it than by speaking to lovers and writers of the genre to see what makes a good creepypasta. Today's willing victim is Zath from the Toospooky forums. He has graciously agreed to be my guinea pig, and needless to say, as with many first times, we did come across some technical difficulties, so I do apologise for any drop in sound quality during the interview. But hopefully you guys will be able to get as much out of it as I did, and who knows, maybe we can all become better writers because of it. I'm going to start doing a few more of these in the future, so I hope you enjoy it, and as always glad to hear your feedback, and don't forget to visit me at insertpastapunhere.com. So without further ado, here is my interview with Zath.
Yeah, so I'll start with the introductions then. So hi Zath. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
It's all good, man.
No worries. So I'll kick off with the first ever interview then. So first of all, who are you for people who don't know?
I mean, I'm sure no one actually knows right now. It's not like I'm an actual writer or anything.
You've got stuff on the internet, that counts.
Got some stuff on the internet. Very little of it is actually good.
We've all got rubbish stuff on the internet, Zath. Don't you?
That is true. Okay. Hi, I'm Zath or Satoth or Satulu or whatever pun I felt like putting my name into. Turns out you can do a lot with the letters C, A, T, and H. I name myself Zath on the Discord server right now.
Awesome. I'd say it turns out Stex has very little changeability. Really, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for me. That's cool. Well, yes. So that's cool. So obviously you write and stuff. What sort of fiction do you like to write? What sort of stuff floats your boat?
Well, basically, I either rip off Dead Palette or I rip off Lovecraft. That's the two modes I have. Either rip off Dead Palette or rip off Lovecraft.
No, it's just those two and those two exclusively. That's no. Well, that's fair enough. You know what I mean? I spent 90% of my writing ripping off episodes of Black Mirror, so that's all
hey, why not?
It's everyone's got to start somewhere. It's no bother.
Exactly.
So like, who is it that you look to? Like, sort of inspires you in your writing? What sort of writers do you endeavour to be like, aside from Lovecraft and Dead Palette? Or are those your two?
Well, actually, the first actual creepypasta I wrote, it was for consoles. Some of it was rubbish, but we're not talking about that one.
Always pretend the rubbish stuff doesn't exist.
Yeah, that one's actual rubbish. I have some rubbish stuff on the internet that's bad, but it's still I wrote this before I could actually write, and it's terrible, but I can't admit that I wrote it. This other thing is just we're not talking about that. Anyway, the first thing I wrote that I felt like had any kind of quality, and am I answering the question right now?
No, just go with it. Let's freeform it. It's fine.
Let's go. Was for an sort of question time on a forum. And the question was, hey, if you were a haunted mansion, what would you be like? And I wrote this entirely ridiculous thing that just completely reversed all the haunted house tropes. You enter this house. Oh, it's written in second person too. I have a habit of doing that. I don't know why. The house is just perfectly clean and just weird stuff. And I just figured, hey, you know what? If a house is actually weird and haunted, it's not gonna be dusty or anything.
That's actually awesome. I really like that idea. I've never imagined myself as a haunted house. I feel like I might be doing that later.
Yeah, you should totally do that. Anyway, so that was I completely. But the ending is rubbish. But like, I'm still kind of proud of it because the idea is at least interesting, even if the execution is severely lacking. And I wrote it in like 20 minutes.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, would you say that sort of like the idea is kind of paramount in sort of like in sort of creepypasta and stuff? Is that what's really going to hook you in? Is if the idea is good over whether the execution's amazing or?
I mean, I think you need both, but like I can be. Okay, for example, a confession. I like No End House. Like I admit it's severely lacking in execution, but I just think it has so many cool ideas and like images that I just kind of like it.
That's it. I agree with you because I'm a lot more forgiving of stuff that has a really good idea behind it than I am if the idea is rubbish and then the execution's good. If the execution's good, that to me, I don't know. I mean, I want to say execution's not hard, but it can be.
Yeah, execution is actually the hard part. Like, anyone can have a good idea.
Yeah.
The execution is the problem.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. And so obviously, we talked about the first thing you wrote. I mean, what do you have any type of specific topics you like to write about that you sort of like that you use quite a lot, or do you just sort of float around and sort of take little bits from everywhere?
Well, I'm a big fan of Lovecraft, so I love the entire cosmic horror thing. Humanity and life and existence as it is completely meaningless. So I love that kind of nihilistic stuff. I always had a thing for like surrealism. So you get a lot of like dreams that are real and stuff. I actually had a very interesting conversation with Sakura while we were discussing how in lucid dreams you sometimes meet dream characters that seem like they're more than just your imagination. And like, I have no proof here, of course. They're probably just my imagination, but it's like, are you really though, or are you something more? And I know a lot of people are not lucid dreamers, and I'm shit at it, but like, your subconscious is sassy as fuck. It's like, by the time you realize you're dreaming, like, everyone looks at you, kind of smiles, applause, and like, dude, you figured it out, congratulations. It's like, thank you, subconscious.
Yeah,
anyway.
I know what you mean though, because I mean, I get a lot of my sort of ideas from sort of dreams I've had. Something that really interested me once is I heard that apparently all the people you see in dreams are actually people you've seen out in real life anyway. So like, your subconscious kind of stores their faces and just throws them up when you're dreaming. And I just like the idea that some random person who, like, I don't know, served you coffee coffee this morning might somehow work their way into your dream and have some weird significance for you, despite the fact you've said about 4 words to them.
Yeah. Anyway, the discussion led to, well, if we can dream about these, dream characters that are slightly more than dream characters, why can't they dream about us? And it's like, oh fuck, that's terrifying.
Oh my god. I wasn't expecting to have my mind blown today, that's...
Yeah, I mean... I was like, oh, I need to do something with this. Anyway, I love the idea of, like, dreams being, real. Like, I believe there's a dream realm. Like, I have no proof, but, like, I believe dreams can be more than just dreams.
Nice. No, I really like that idea. As I say, that's it's not. I'd say weirdly, it's not something I'd thought about before. But now that's going to be keeping me awake at night. That's going to be preventing me from entering that realm. That's
yeah.
Just thinking about that. Awesome. Cool. Well, I was just going to say, because I mean, before we set this up, obviously I asked you to send me over a story that you've written that you particularly liked, and you sent me over your was it an entry for the Pokerpasta thing for Undercrypt Analysis, wasn't it? So I'm intending to be a bit spoilery, so for those people listening, I'll put the link in the description. Just pause it here, have a read through of the story, and as I say, me and Zath will talk over it.
Right, because it's puzzly, and I'm gonna spoil the entire mystery now.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, it's written like that. You know the story ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw this. Okay, for those who haven't read ability, I'm just gonna spoil that too. It's a super short story. It's like this Japanese businessman sees a homeless man who, like, when he sees people, it goes like, oh, pig, human, chicken, avocado, like stuff like that. And one day he goes up to the man and asks the man if he has like any kind of ability for some reason. I don't know. There's a bit of fuzzy logic there, but whatever. It's a cool story, I think. And the man says, yeah, but it's a kind of lame ability. I only know the last thing someone ate. And then you reread the story, and then you notice that he said human. And I love stuff like that when you kind of have to, like, when the story doesn't give you all the information, you know, you kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I really like that story as well, and that was one I definitely had to reread just to be like, oh, and then have that sort of aha moment where you're like, oh, that's weird. So
anyway, so yeah.
So yeah, so give us an overview. I mean, it's called Victory Bell. Give us an overview of what it's about.
Okay, there's this Let's Player, you know, cute girl, kind of funny. She generally streams, you know, Pokemon fighting games, you know, kind of Japanese stuff. She has this kind of close-knit fan base. There's not a lot of people. I guess there's not actually a number, but it's like, I guess she has like you know, 50 kind of, you know, regulars, but you know, they're close-knit. They're good friends. Anyway, one day, she gets sent. Oh yeah, there's also lots of puns in the story, like lots and lots and lots of puns. I fit about every single bell pun in there I could.
That's part of the reason why I enjoyed it. I love a pun.
Anyway, so she gets sent this. You know, it's kind of blank. Game Boy cartridge that has like just Pokemon on it. Anyway, so she sets it up, plays through it, and well, weird stuff happens.
Nice. That's cool. And I'd say like I've read through it, and that's why I did really enjoy it, especially the puns, obviously. But
Yeah.
but I like what you did with the because obviously it is a haunted gaming pasta, which is done a lot in the creepypasta community. But you put a really nice twist on it in that you've got everyone watching it. 'Cause it's nearly always supposed to be like, they're nearly always, oh, I was playing this on my own, so and then this happened. Whereas this is kind of all live stream. People are watching it and commenting on it as it goes, which I really enjoy. So you go for it.
The funny thing is that I know that Pellet praised like how I had from the viewpoint of a Let's Player, because like that explains, you know, why you don't have the game.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually think about that. it's just like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll go with that.
Yeah. It's always nice when someone comes up to me, oh, this is good for this reason. You're like, I had not thought of that, but thank you, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So when you were writing it, because obviously, you know, you had the brief already, you had to write a Pokemon themed creepypasta. I mean, what was kind of your process when writing it? Where did you start? What was sort of like your starting point for it? I mean, did you just write through?
First of all, it was like, Dead Palette, this is absolutely impossible. There's no way anyone could write a good Pokemon creepypasta. Like, this is absolutely impossible. And then I kind of started playing with the idea of, like, you know, having, you know, a cosmic horror kind of haunted game. You know, you play through it and then you lose all hope for reality. And I'm not Lovecraft.
Yeah.
So I can figure out a way to do that.
That's it. And in fairness, I've played quite a few JRPGs that have made me lose all faith in reality. So. And those weren't even haunted. Those are.
And anyway, sort of, and like I said, I have two modes. I either rip off Lovecraft or that palette. So like, well, okay, we're ripping off that palette instead. So I don't know, the idea. Yeah.
Sorry, you go for it. No, you go ahead.
Okay. And then I just kind of started. I don't know who actually just. Oh yeah, the idea was actually came from the Victory Bell. Okay, so Victory Bell is based on a pitcher plant, which is a somewhat yonic Pokemon. Yonic, for those people who don't know, is the opposite of phallic.
I'm writing that one down. I'm using that word more.
Yeah, you should. It's a great word. So yeah, I guess the entire idea just grew from there. Okay, seriously, if you haven't read it, pause the episode, read the story, then get back to this, because this is going to be important, because I don't feel like going through the entire story. Anyway, so the entire point of the story is that 3, 2, 1, okay, good. Now I'm just gonna take for granted that you actually read the story. Okay.
Spoilers.
Okay, the entire point of the story is that she's seducing her viewers to, murder, torture them, which is how you get the ending. And like, the entire cartridge is basically from the guy who's telling the story. The guy who's telling the story made a cartridge, and the entire cartridge is basically, bitch, I know what you're doing.
Sly, I like that.
Yeah. So
is that kind of was that kind of the starting point? Then it's like, I want to write a story that does this, and then you just kind of wrote the beginning after that, basically.
Yeah, basically, it just kind of came together pretty well. It's because like on the top level, it's kind of like a Pale Luna sort of thing. Pale Luna, by the way, is the best haunted gaming pasta ever. And, it's a kind of like realist, but still like weird thing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, the like, I don't know how I ended up going all Hemingway on it and like doing the entire iceberg thing, but I did, and I'm actually really proud of it.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads nicely onto my next question, which was going to be why it's your favourite. It's just because you feel like you managed to get just enough of the story over, or?
Yeah, I think it's very elegant in a way. You have this like basic like top level, and then you kind of need to reread it a couple times to like get what I'm actually doing with it. And okay, it might be possible that you can't actually catch it because I haven't written it well enough.
That's always what I worry about when I'm trying to sort of like, I never want to be too obvious with stuff, but then I spend the rest of my time worrying that I'm not being obvious enough.
Yeah.
But no, but I'd say, in fairness, when I read it, that did cross my mind. As I say, I'm awful at sort of gleaning meaning from stuff, especially as soon as someone says subtext, I overthink it completely. But no, that one was like, oh, is that from him? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you read it now, you can probably spot the clues I left them. For example, the images in the game is obviously taken by his Game Boy camera.
Yeah,
I mentioned over. So that's a big clue to it. And there's like one in like the very first sentence that mentions, viewers disappearing. And then there's, a kind of disturbing line about her boyfriends.
I did clock that one. That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I think I've blown quite enough smoke up your ass about your own stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Although, as I say, I did enjoy it, but because the other thing I asked you to do was sort of send me over something story by someone else who you really liked, and you sent me over Thomas Ligotti. Is it Thomas Ligotti? I'd never heard of him before I'd been speaking to you about him, and I read. It was a series of short stories you gave me, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Songs of a Dreamer.
That's the one. Yeah.
Songs of a Dreamer.
That's it. And as I read I must admit I haven't read it all yet. I've read the first story, and I was blown away. That was really good. I mean, what is it? I know. Like, what is it that makes him so good for you? Do you think?
He has this ability to like just create these extremely like nightmarish atmospheres. They're like his stories generally just really feel like being trapped in a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely like. So was it the first one? Is the prison psychiatrist who? Spoilers if anyone hasn't read it, but yeah, he's talking about what we assume is like a child rapist or someone who kills children. That he's having to talk to, and it just gets more and more disturbing from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, as this one is a collection, which one of the short stories is your favourite out of the collection? Do you think?
A second, I'm gonna walk over to my back case and get it.
Look at you with an actual hard copy.
Okay, let's. That's a very good question because it's.
Because there's quite a lot of them.
Yeah. Top of my head, I'm probably gonna go with the Chemist.
Nice.
Yeah, it's told from the perspective of a kind of weird guy who picks up what's hinted to be a prostitute.
always start a good start.
Yeah, the entire story is like only told from like his conversation, so like you don't get her conversation at all. You just get like the stuff he's saying. So that's really weird, but it works.
Nice. Yeah, because I've seen.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I've seen a couple of creepypastas that kind of do that whole telling you one half of the story sort of thing. I mean, how do you think it does it well? You know, what makes it good? That story.
It's I don't know. You get a good idea of both characters and like the world, and it's like it doesn't feel unnatural. Like you get a lot from like his answers to her conversation pieces and stuff like that, without it actually feeling forced. It still feels like a somewhat arrogant, slightly narcissistic bastard would actually talk like this.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get to this one. This sounds right up my alley. But
and like, I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but the ending is like, I like horror that isn't like. I mean, I can like a good, sexy, gory horror story as much as everyone, but sometimes it feels a little tacky. Sometimes I just want something more, I guess, metaphysical. If that makes sense to anyone. Like,
yeah.
Someone that can actually like terrify me without needing to go, with the blood splatter.
Yeah. So I mean, I think sometimes it's almost more effective if you hold back on the gore. Sometimes, if you can execute it well.
Yeah, I mean, then again, we still, when it comes to actually writing good gore, we still have to bring in Clay Barker, who's great at writing gore.
Yeah, some of his ones make me feel physically sick. I love it.
Yeah. In the Hills to Sit is one of my absolute favorite horror stories ever. Anyway, back to Tom.
Yeah.
It's a lot of his stories are more like they are, Lovecraftian kind of pessimistic. Reality is evil kind of thing.
That's it. Bad stuff is gonna happen, and it's gonna continue to happen. Enjoy.
and it's gonna be weird and surreal and nightmarish. Absolutely not. But, I love how he has a lot of puppets in the stories, but like the puppets generally, he kind of reverses the old trope of the puppets coming alive and killing everyone. Puppets more symbolizes that we are the puppets. There's no such thing as persons. We're just meat with delusions of self. And I don't know. I really love that somehow.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's such a cheery thought that, it's the thing that keeps cropping up on Facebook, which is cucumbers with anxiety. It's
yeah. I'm sure even cucumbers have it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't doubt it. Okay, so that was it Thomas Ligotti, and what was the book called again?
Songs of a Dead Dreamer, and actually, Penguin has his first two collections in the same book, which is Songs of a Dead Dreamer and Grimscribe.
Nice.
I very much recommend it.
Awesome. With any luck, they might start paying you some money. But
Yeah.
we can.
I mean,
always
no one's
help.
gonna pick it up anyway because no one recommend them, but I'm gonna keep trying.
That's it. One day, everyone will be as sort of depressive and
Yeah, exactly.
exactly, and realise the complete pointlessness of life. And I feel the world will be better for it.
Yeah.
Nice. So now we've done one of yours and a story you like. So with the scene generally, like, what are your thoughts on the creepypasta scene at the moment?
Honestly, gotten kind of bored of it. I shall be honest. There's like once upon a time, I could go through the creepypasta wiki and like, okay, this story was shit. This story was shit. This story was pretty good. This story was shit. This story was shit. This story was actually really good. This story was shit. This story was shit. And like, I don't have the patience to wade through all the shit to get to the good stuff anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean, especially with the creepypasta wiki. I love it. Like, I've read most of my favourite creepypastas on there, but these days there's so much rubbish that
Yeah.
it can just be difficult to find stuff that's actually good. Like, especially with some of the other sites as well, who like had a bit more stringent. I can't think what the word is, but like you'd have people who'd actively curate this stuff, and now it's just kind of everyone's being a bit look at me, and just hope.
Exactly. Like the entire like narrator, yada yada.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean,
That's it. It does amuse me that whenever I ask people, people who are involved in the scene about what they think of the scene, the answer is nearly always but I mean, in the sort of the creepypasta you do read, I mean, are there there's no doubt that like tropes are like everywhere in the creepypasta, but I mean, are there any in particular that you like when people do?
I mean, I like when people can like manage to like tell a really like disturbing, weird story, and like keep the speculative elements low.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think
you go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think that that's why I like Dead Pals so much, because like his stories are generally like really weird and surreal, and there's still like very little magic happening most of the time.
No, that makes sense. So I mean, in terms of tropes, then, I mean, what do you think's overused? If you had to pick one, what's the one thing that is going to make you like switch off from the story completely?
I'm gonna. I mean, good contest between icon characters. Yeah, that's probably the one I'm gonna. Yeah, icon characters. It's still possible that you could do like a lost episode well. I don't know how, but I could imagine it, and I've written a pretty good gaming post on myself, so
Yeah.
as we already talked about. And, so those are stuff like they're probably not going to be done well because they're overused and they're just cliches right now. But like they could be done well theoretically.
That's it. I've always wanted to see a lost episode that's actually like an episode that already exists of something, and someone just reframing the whole thing and making it creepy. Like, because I mean, especially with lost episodes, I remember watching enough stuff when I was a kid that genuinely scared me that wasn't trying to scare me, and
Yeah.
I'd love to see someone do something with that.
I actually think Prosecutor. Well, it's a movie, but it's Samson and Sally. I think he basically just describes the entire movie, and we watched the movie too. It's like it's a kids movie, but it's. I mean, it's not really all that disturbing as such, but it's like really nihilistic when you think about it.
Yeah. That's it. My go-to is always Watership Down. I remember watching Watership Down when I was like 6 years old, and it was just being harrowing. But
I think the problem with like lost episodes and stuff like that, it's that like someone watching something creepy, it's not creepy.
cool, we're going. So basically, so I guess we're at sort of, if you could make a good lost episode, I suppose, what sort of the problems with them are at the moment?
Well, I guess. I mean, first of all, like reading about a person, you know, watching something scary or playing something scary generally. I mean, it's not scary.
Yeah, there's that degree of separation there, isn't it? It's not like
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like if someone went up to you and told you, "Hey, I saw this really scary movie," and it's like start telling you about it, and yeah, dude, that was a scary movie, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I get that it scared you. I get, it's probably a good movie, but dude.
Yeah, but you explained to me it is not. It's like jokes. It's never as good when someone's telling you what a stand-up comedian said as when you actually see it.
Exactly. I mean, I quote Bill Hicks a lot, but anyway.
Yeah, well, no, so do I, in fairness. Louis C.K. all day. But
Okay, pointless trivia. Bill died the day before I was born. So,
Really?
like, he looked down upon the world and said, "Fuck this kid in particular."
that is a nightmare. That's literally just sort of like, yeah, the world. I think I've done all I can here. It's all culminated in this.
Anyway, lost episodes. And like Haunted Game, because they're basically the same thing, aren't they? Like, there's hey, I ran into something creepy, and here's what happened.
That's it. I continued to watch it even though I was scared. I continued to play. I didn't get up or turn it off.
Anyway, I think there needs to like be a subtext there at least. Like, there's you need to like tell more of a story than just, hey, I saw this scary lost episode, which probably was just made by someone on the internet who wanted to frighten you.
That's it. I think we've all become like, back in the day, a lost episode would work because it's almost like, well, I mean, 2011, it's not like the internet was new, but you know what I mean? Sort of, everyone was a lot less cynical than they are now. I was certainly a lot less cynical than I am now, and it's just kind of, whenever you see everyone say, oh yeah, I saw this weird thing on the internet, it's like, yeah, because that's what the internet is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, I mean, you need to, I mean, I guess, for doing it first, Ben Drown actually did a couple things right.
That's it. I remember reading Ben Drown back in the day, and it's scaring the life out of me. But and right now, so I was back when I genuinely thought it was real, and obviously, I think a lot of people tried to do it since, but it's just never been the same.
Yeah, I think. Okay.
Way.
Petscop. I was talking about Petscop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we recording?
We are still recording. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. And anyway, point is, if you're doing like a haunted gaming episode, or a haunted game, it's like you need subtext. Like you need to do something with the format you're using.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just doing a haunted game just sort of doesn't cut it anymore. It's it's been done.
I mean, if you made an actual haunted game, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, that would actually be pretty epic. I've seen YouTube adaptations of haunted video game pastas, and somehow they're actually slightly creepier than the actual pastas themselves.
Yeah, because like at least then you're actually watching it happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely something to think about. I might have a look at seeing if anyone's talented enough to do that. We've got copyright on that. We've clearly mentioned it first, but that's cool. And well, in which case we might as well do the last question then, which is basically for someone who's listening to this thinking, I want to write creepypasta. What advice would you give, and what advice do you wish you'd known when you first started out than you do now?
I mean, first of all, listen to Dead Palette, because Dead Palette knows what he's talking about. Read Slime Beast, because Slime Beast knows what he's doing. And honestly, there's... you have like 200 years of like, spooky stories.
Yeah. The influence is there if you can be bothered to search out for it.
Exactly. I mean, and then you're not going to be stuck in like the same old tropes everyone else uses. So, read more than creepypasta.
Nice.
I guess is my.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, in which case we might as well call it there. I mean, I'd say thanks a lot for your help. I appreciate it, and it's been good, enlightening. Hopefully, some people will get something out of it, and we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, sure.
No worries. Thanks a lot for this, man.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So there we go. My first interview, and I think it went all right for a first time. As I said before, I just want to thank Zath for graciously agreeing to be my guinea pig for this. I appreciate him being very patient with me, and I asked him also in my excitement. Forgot to ask him if there's anything he wanted to plug. I've asked him afterwards, and he just told people to read Thomas Ligotti. So do that. As I say, I'll post a link to one of his books on Amazon in the description, as I said before, along with a link to Zath's story. So thanks a lot for listening, guys, and I'll see you all next time.